The first time I got stuck, the doors almost closed on my hand. My name is Valerie. My job in the night shift archive downtown forces me to take the freight elevator, old and groaning, every single night. I have never liked elevators. Not just because they're small, but because the darkness in them breathes, thick, humid, with a scent that isn't sweat, but anticipation. That night, the air inside was colder than usual. The walls sweated, beads of moisture running down like tears. I hummed nervously. The lights overhead flickered, then steadied, like an eye adjusting to the dark. I pressed G. The elevator jerked, then started an agonizingly slow descent, humming with the sound of bones dragged across rotting metal. I clutched my badge, fingers numb. Halfway down, the elevator shuddered hard, then stopped. The digital panel blinked, showing a floor number I didn't recognize, 5.5. The doors didn't open. The emergency light clicked on, blood red and viscous. I tried to breathe. The air tasted thick, like copper and old sweat. Something pressed against my ankles, a gentle tracing, cold and moist. My mind rattled. I pressed the call button, but all I heard was silence more complete than noise. Then, a soft, wet whisper from behind the wall, "Don't let it stop, Valerie. Never let it stop." The elevator began to move again, but wrong. It went up, then sideways. The space became too large, then too small, changing shape with each breath I took. The corners sharpened. The floor felt sticky, footprints pressed into the tar-like stain where carpet should be. My badge, clipped to my shirt, began to vibrate. Writing appeared across the inside wall, a message in my handwriting, though I never wrote it. "You can leave when you're hollow. Don't let it open." The smell turned foul, teeth rotting, mixed with chemical sweetness, like a corpse stuffed inside a pharmacy bag. My skin prickled, sweat soaking through my uniform until it felt shrink-wrapped. The lights died. Total darkness. I felt soft breathing on my neck. Fingers traced my spine, too cold, too many. Something whispered in my dead mother's voice twinned and distorted. Whispered, come out, wherever you are." I checked my phone out of habit. The screen flashed blinding white, then showed a video, the elevator from above, but instead of me, a faceless shape hunched in the corner, swaying back and forth. Then, impossibly, the shape moved as if knowing I was watching. It curled into itself. It began to shriek. I dropped the phone. The floor opened with a grinding snap, teeth-like metal edges sliding past each other. I saw a black abyss below, filled with slick, squirming limbs, reaching up for me. The elevator began falling, slow at first, then accelerating so fast I could feel my organs shifting inside me. My nails tore free from their beds, blood filled my mouth as I bit down, too hard, on my own tongue. Images flashed behind my eyes, faces pressed into elevator walls, mouths open, teeth missing. hands scraping just beneath the surface, writing messages in blood. Then, complete, hollow silence. The elevator stopped. The lights flickered on, showing no one inside but me. But the blank spot on the security footage still moved. Slowly, subtly, it swayed. And its face was almost mine. When they pried the doors open, there were finger dents in the metal all around me, as if I'd tried to claw my way out with someone else's hands. There was skin under my fingernails, not mine. The elevator walls had writing scrawled everywhere, please, threats, and instructions all in my own script. The panel forever stuck on 5.5. The emergency crew swore up and down I had been alone inside. But someone else's shirt, a night guard's uniform, caked with something black and wet, was curled next to my feet when they found me. I left the job. But the elevators in every building since have started to jitter, sometimes pausing on the in-between floors. And sometimes, when the silence falls inside, I feel something press against my back. When I blink, sometimes my reflection is gone, replaced by that shape, swaying gently, face more familiar every day. Sometimes, late at night, I hear the freight elevator grinding up from the basement of my apartment. Even though there isn't one. And now, every mirror in my home is marked with the same number, traced in condensation and something dark, 5.5. I never use elevators. I never will again. But somehow, they always come to me. The first time I got stuck was with another person, and it should have made it easier. My name is Aaron. I'm not good with crowds, not good with closed spaces, claustrophobic ever since they pulled my brother from the well. So when the power flickered at the old Fenwick Library, I swallowed my anxiety and let the custodian, Marjorie, step inside with me. She had arthritis in her hands, white hair so fine it looked like fog under the elevator light. We made small talk as doors clicked shut, laughing about rumors, secret floors, haunted stacks. But the elevator felt full, crowded with more than just two bodies. The air was thick. My chest tightened. The overhead bulb glowed a little too dim. We made it to the third floor, then lurched and stopped. Doors wouldn't open. Marjorie joked, maybe we're lucky. Maybe we'll get through the books faster. I smiled, but when I pressed the open door button, the plastic under my thumb felt warm, almost pulsing in time with my heartbeat. From above, a slow, wet sound started, a dragging, sucking noise. The light went out. Silence fell, so sharp I could hear my own blood. Minutes passed, maybe hours. My watch spun backward. I checked my phone, and every notification was unreadable, random glyphs, backwards text, smiling faces. Marjorie started humming an old song, her voice shaking, too quiet. Then came the smell. Not decay, but the active rot of freshly opened graves. Something ancient, heavy, crawling through the vents. The sound above changed, now it was bones scraping together. Through the emergency hatch, I heard a whisper. Whispered, different voice actor, a book for each bone. Can you read them all? I asked Marjorie if she'd heard it. She pressed her hands over her ears, eyes rolled back, lips trembling. In the dark, I saw writing appearing on the elevator walls, handwriting that looked strange but sickeningly familiar. Don't trust her. The hatch comes down. I tried calling for help. The speaker only hissed, then there was my voice, played back, counting numbers I'd never said. The darkness thickened, the bulb overhead glowed red now, like a dropped clot. Marjorie's hands twisted unnaturally, bones realigning. Something pressed from the metal below her, fingerprints rising as if a hand inside the floor was reaching for her leg. Then the elevator began moving, lurching downward. But every floor number was negative. -3, -7, -29, -1000. My phone rang. The screen showed my brother's face. He'd drowned 20 years ago. The call connected. Whispered, help her drown. Then you'll be free. The metal creaked, the hatch started to descend, slow, relentless, heavy with wet noise. Through the slot, I saw pale faces pressed against the glass, eyes rolled back, grinning. Marjorie began sobbing, her voice layered twice. The elevator dropped. Endless. We screamed. And in that moment, I understood, no one escapes together. The descent didn't stop. My bones felt stretched, my skin buzzed with a dry electricity, like something was trying to wriggle out from beneath my fingernails. The cold air thickened until I swore I was breathing in threads. Each time the elevator jerked, Marjorie's face transformed, eyelids vanishing, cheeks hollowing, her mouth gaping farther than should be possible. She screamed through fractures in her voice, but the sound layered unnaturally, shrieks overlapping with wet whispers, like an audience clapping in a cave. Writing spread up the metal walls, dripping black on silver. Alone together. Together alone. Count your bones. How deep is forever? The emergency hatch above rattled, and a pale hand reached down, fingers impossibly long, knuckles reversed, nails torn. I begged for help, but my pleas bounced back as echoes, each one voiced by someone else. Marjorie's body snapped sideways, her joints dislocated in slow-motion horror. Her eyes split in two, one brown, one glass, and each blinked out of sync. When I tried to hold her, her skin felt like thick paper, damp and curling at the edges. The elevator finally screeched to a stop. No floor number showed. No escape hatch. The doors ground open with a noise like teeth raking through gravel. There was nothing outside, an empty, endless library, shelves curving upward and inward, every book labeled with my name. I stepped out, but the moment my foot touched the ground, the shelves bent toward me, groaning. Marjorie vanished. Her sobs receded into the stacks, then were replaced by laughter with my brother's voice, echoing through the endless rows. The lights blinked off, one by one, until only a sliver of red remained, and in it, my hands reflected as not quite human. Fingers jointed backward. Nails black and glass-like. I woke up in the real elevator, alone, rescued by a crew who claimed I'd smashed all the buttons, bit deep grooves into the metal door, and marred the walls with bloody streaks. Some spelling, alone. Marjorie was gone. She'd never existed, they insisted. No record. No custodian named Marjorie in Fenwick's history. The aftershock stays with me. Sometimes, when I pick up a book, the author line reads, Aaron. The pages are blank, but I hear her voice in the ambient noise, humming that same tune. My brother's laughter slips in at the edges of sleepless nights, and sometimes, I wake up clutching dust that smells like grave dirt. Elevators are emptier now. But under every floor, there's a negative waiting. And sometimes, my phone rings, showing my dead brother's face, and I don't dare answer. Each morning, new scratches appear up my arms. Fresh lines. Fresh joints. The floor monitor said we were moving, but I could feel every wire in the elevator straining. My name's Becca. I don't sleep much anymore, not since Mom died. My therapist said exposure therapy could help, so I forced myself into the elevator for the first time in months. This was the old 6-story in Hargrave Estates, rusted panel, sticky buttons, a reek that wasn't just mildew but old sweat, heavy as regret. I was alone, or so I thought. The doors closed with their usual grinding cough. Before I could check my phone for distractions, the lights flickered, one by one, tracing a path upward. Something about the pattern felt intentional. As if the elevator itself was studying me. Halfway up, a vibration juddered beneath my feet, subtle enough to blame on bad cables. I gripped the rail, knuckles pale. Then the air grew dense, thick, almost chewy. I inhaled. Instead of the dank, I tasted copper. The metallic tang of something bleeding behind the walls. No music, no safety recording. Just silence heavy enough to make my ears ring. Until a wet, tearing sound emanated from the ceiling, like old flesh peeled from bone. I looked up. The ceiling panel pulsed, as if breathing. I pressed every button. Nothing happened. The elevator kept climbing, but the screen showed random numbers, 7, 13, -2. Floors that didn't exist. The walls felt too close, tightening. My reflection in the chrome handrail blinked before I did. And then, from the speaker box, whispered, "You should have stayed on the ground floor, Becca." My phone refused to light up. Emergency call failed. My breathing sounded wrong, like two sets of lungs filling the same chest. The fluorescent lights warped, shadows began pouring, dripping slowly from the corners rather than falling. The metallic scent thickened. I could taste teeth rotting. My tongue felt heavy, swollen. Touching the wall sent a wave of cold through my spine, as if something was tracing me with fingers I could not see. Each time the elevator lurched, new scratches appeared in the metal, spelling out fractured words. Up is hungry. Going down means drown. A noise above, the bones being dragged. I slammed the alarm button. The speaker only hissed. Through it, I heard my mother's lullaby, twisted and garbled. Whispered, "Why'd you walk away, Becca?" Then something pressed against my shoe. I looked down. A pool of red seeped from the crease where the floor meets the wall. It vibrated with each breath I took. I pressed myself against the elevator's farthest corner, knees locked. The ceiling panel buckled, bulging downward. I stared up, heart a stuttering machine. Then, in the chrome reflection, I saw an eye open. My own, but older, bloodshot, the skin pale and bloated. It stared at me, blinking out of sync. And that was the moment I felt gravity reverse. My hair rose. The elevator wasn't climbing anymore. It was ascending. To somewhere I'd never wanted to discover. I slammed my fists into the door, panicked, desperate. My bones felt like they were filled with static, my skin itched from the inside. The scratching in the metal didn't stop. Now the words changed every time I blinked. No exit. Stay and starve. Breathe me in. The light cycled through a palette of sickly colors, yellow into purple, white into green, then a color I cannot name. When I tried to scream, the sound that came out wasn't mine, it was two voices layered, one begging, the other laughing. I felt my blood thickening, my heartbeat stalling, actual dread in my veins, clotting. The elevator trembled with every pulse. Then, a memory appeared etched across the door, my mother's handwriting, looping and frantic. Come home, come home, come home. The panel above groaned and split wide. Something dripped out, coiling, a black, oily shape that wrote words in the pooling copper at my shoes. Not human. Not a machine. Something between. It whispered in that same, dead voice, quieter. Whispered, "You never did know how to leave." With my last fragment of sense, I kicked at the doors. They wouldn't budge. The elevator shuddered, starting to fall upward. The speaker crackled. I tasted stomach acid, choked, and retched until my throat went raw. Suddenly, the doors slid open on a floor that didn't exist. There was nothing outside, just a yawning black. And as I stared into it, I understood, this wasn't escape. This was an arrival. The last thing I saw before plummeting. My reflection in the stainless steel door, mouth stretched into someone else's grin, hair bone white, eyes pale as milk. When they found me, I was unconscious between floors, smeared with copper stains, eyes open and unblinking. The elevator doors were jammed. They say I'd ripped out my own hair by the fistful. I haven't used an elevator since. Every day now, I see that strange floor number flicker in the corner of my vision. Sometimes, I find wet footprints pressed into my bedroom carpet, trailing from the closet to my bedside. At night, when I close my eyes, gravity tries to pull me upward. And every morning, a single scratch appears in my bathroom mirror, fresh, copper red. Up is hungry. Whenever I take the stairs, sometimes, I taste metal. Just before I feel myself begin to float.